Hi, my name is Xavier Rosario, and today I'll be giving you a short but detailed brief on Grunt Style's crisis communication on the recent situation in which their founder and former CEO, Daniel Arick, took on social media and the media as a whole to trash the overall reputation of the brand. So let's first talk about what is Grunt Style. Grunt Style is an e-commerce business-to-consumer company that sells patriotic and military apparel. The company offers the best return policy in the industry with their beer guarantee program, standing behind their products for life, replacing their products no matter how long you had it or what happened to it. They also offer their Club Grunt membership, which for $20 a month, you get a monthly t-shirt unique to Club Grunt members, and you also enjoy free shipping on all your orders and enjoy many more perks and giveaways. Grunstyle is a veteran-owned business who proudly employ veterans and give back to the community through their many charitable programs. So, what's the situation? The situation is that on September 21st, 2020, the company's former CEO, Daniel Alaric, he took on social media through a GoFundMe post to ask for financial assistance for his family's health, while stating that he was terminated for no reason from the company he founded. So, the problem here is that Daniel was a very well known within the company's consumers because of his history with the U.S. Army, right? I mean, he is a U.S. veteran who served in the military for many years as a drill sergeant, as an infantryman. So he got that connection with the consumers. And also, Daniel has been very approachable on social media. He's created that very friendship and approachable relationship with the brand's consumer. He got a very unique relationship with the consumers, right? Because of this, within minutes of his post, a post that was followed by many comments where Daniel even elaborated more on his side of the story. Again, within minutes of this post, thousands of consumers started threatening that they were going to boycott Grunstyle. As a matter of fact, many of these individuals actually followed through, and within 24 hours of Daniel's post, the company had lost thousands of monthly members due to this one single post. So let's talk about the critical factors. There are quite a few critical factors bearing on this problem, right? Let's first talk about that. Even though Grunstyle claims that they released a press release in February, or the issue a press release in February when they hired the new CEO, I couldn't find any articles dated to February with such announcement. And it was not even posted on their social medias or none of their channels, as a matter of fact. The only article I found was dated April 2020, and is an article that you have to pay in order to read the article. Therefore, for many individuals, including me, Daniel's post became the first time many of us heard about the fact that our favorite brand had parted ways with Daniel and hired a new CEO. This actually caused a lot of people to immediately side with Daniel. The second thing is that, of course, by siding with Daniel, this resulted in thousands of canceled subscriptions, which in return, or at the end, not in return, but at the end, it resulted in hundreds of thousands of dollars lost for Grunt Style monthly, right? Also, because this post involved Daniel's wife and daughter's health condition, this situation could easily ruin the brand's reputation if not handled promptly and with care. It could also lead to a loss of stakeholders as well. Bottom line is that this situation had to be addressed immediately. If not, they were risking a potential life or death situation for the brand. So let's talk about the possible solutions. And the possible solution for this problem are to first immediately issue a press release which is start of the story. Due to the severity of this problem, this press release needs to be vetted through legal channels to ensure it is safe for the company to publish it. Grunstyle also needs to hire a PR firm in order to launch new campaigns focused on reputation recovery and gaining the consumer's confidence and trust again. Because this situation also affected the company internally, they must also focus on having their new acquired PR firm work on their internal PRs. They must ensure all their employees know that the company is there for them and support all their needs. So let's talk about what actually happened. You could read this post. This is Grunstyle released within 48 hours. But basically, Grunstyle did exactly what I just talked about. Within 48 hours of Daniel's post, Grunstyle did a press release that included the timeline of the events and explained their side of the story. They also worked on some internal public relations to ensure their staff were all aware that they do care for them and that they got policies and programs in place to safeguard them. So, because of the complexity of this situation, there are not many things that could have been done differently in this situation. I think Grunstyle did a great job addressing the problem very carefully and promptly. However, I do believe there's things that could have been done ahead of time that could have potentially avoided this crisis. Grunstyle should have ensured their new CEO announcement back in February. They should have ensured it went out to many other places. They should have went out to local press releases or local news outlets. It should have went out to nationally outlets. It should have went out through influencers. They also could have made the announcement on their social media platforms. As a matter of fact, they should have sent an email to all their subscribers announcing the new CEO. I mean, I personally, as a consumer, would have loved to see that email, to see what is in the future was, new CEO brings a lot of new things for a company. And it would have been nice to just, here's an email, here's our new CEO, this is new vision, this is where we're going, right? Um, by doing so, they would have avoided people to feel left out and side with Daniel immediately. So let's talk about the possible PR crisis process that, you know, and they could have looked like this. They could have looked like, let's notify our leadership, let's call a meeting within hours of Daniel's post. This in this meeting, you're going to brief the crisis, the potential outcomes, good and bad. And after you notify our leadership, then you want to stop all media communication. Do not post anything on any platform. Your very next post should be addressing the crisis. If you continue to post regularly, you'll be given the impression that you don't care about what's going on with Daniel and your brand. All right. So make sure you stop. No matter how often you publish, it don't matter what you got on the schedule. It don't matter. Stop it until this is resolved. Again, you don't want to take a week, 2 weeks to post anything because then your quietness could also give the impression that you don't care, right? You want to reply, you want to post something immediately, like they did within 48 hours. But your next post should be addressing the issue. All right. After this, you want to develop a plan of action. And you want to do this within 3 or 4 hours of you finding out the crisis. You need to include the key leaders from different departments on the development of this plan of action so that you can get all the facts together and ensure that everything is 100% accurate before you develop a press release in which you will acknowledge the problem, state who it's affecting, how it's affecting them, and you also want to state what you're doing to mitigate the problem while reinforcing the company's values and mission. Next will be to get the press release approved by your legal team. You must get this approved by your legal team. This is the most important one, right? Your legal team must give you a thumbs up on this type of press release. You also want to get the approval of the editors and PR representative. While you're working on getting the press release approved, you should have a team working on the distribution strategy. Also, remember that you need to include both local, national. If your brand is even bigger, you also want to include international outlets. And you want to do on both print, online, actually, and even TV platforms. You also want to include influencers in your field and your internal channels as well. As a matter of fact, on your internal channels, you can include a more detailed article that addresses the issue more in depth and states your plan of action on how you're going to prevent this from happening again. Even though press conferences are encouraged for crisis communications, in this particular case, with the severity and sensitivity of this case, I will stay away from press conference. Again, because of the sensitivity of this crisis and because of involved medical issues, I will not want anyone from the company answering any questions. Why? Well, because you don't want to have to say, I can't answer that right now, or I don't know, or you don't want to put yourself in a predicament where medias are asking you questions they're gonna, put you in the pickle, right? So for the time being, stay away from press conference. You also want to monitor, you want to have a monitoring system in place, right? Even though you want to be very careful when replying to consumers, I do recommend you monitoring what people are saying about the brand in the weeks and even months following the crisis. I will stay away from entering in any arguments with consumers or even with Daniel because he's very active on social media. But I will show presence by ensuring your consumers know the situation is being handled. Lastly, it will be, the last thing will be to have a follow up meeting, or as we call it in the Army or in the military, after action review. In this meeting, your focus is to gather information about the crisis in order to write a lessons learned report. This way, you are better fit to handle this type of situations if it was to arise again. The meeting focus should be going over what happened, how it happened, who it affected, what was done to fix the issue. I mean, you want to list uh, a few things that were done well in the process. Then you also want to list things that you can improve on, right? And the last thing and the most important thing is that you want to develop a training plan, right? You want to, based on all this information, you want to develop a training plan so you could go out and train your employees, you know, train your C-suite folks, train your PR folks, train everybody, right? So that they know what to do, how to act, and what to expect if this situation was to arise again. Again, conducting an AAR meeting could help you prevent this type of crisis from happening again. It could help you, prevent this type of crisis from happening again. But it's mostly meant to provide lessons learned. Again, this is what you're trying to get out of this: a lesson learned, so that you can plan ahead. Not so you can prevent it, but you can plan ahead and be ready for certain situations when they arrive. All right. So here's my reference. Here is a list of reference used for this presentation. And this concludes my presentation. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy.